What's up? What's up? What's up, my brother? What's up?
He's back, baby.
Yeah, episode number 3. We going live. We waiting for some people to join us.
Yeah.
We got a special guest playing in the background. If you know a little bit about that down south, that juvie, this brother used to bang this. He was coming out the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't own the rights, but we gonna play it because this is what my homie used to rock. So we appreciate you joining us again when the lights go out.
Yes, indeed. We appreciate everybody, following us, man. We're getting a lot of feedback, man. We appreciate y'all. Big time. What's up, Fletcher? How was your week, man?
Man, listen, no complaints, man. No complaints, man. We here, so it's another good week, man. When the lights go out, episode number 3. It go fast, brother. This is number 3 already.
Hey, man. The day goes fast.
Yeah.
It's time to get prepared, man. So
number 1, shout out to your youngin'. Yeah. Shout out to your youngin'. Happy birthday, little Sally.
Happy birthday, Sally, man. He's turning 17, man.
Nah, that's what's up, man. That's a blessing, man.
No doubt.
So shout out to your son. Happy birthday. Enjoy, young fella. What's up out there when the lights go out? Episode number 3. Coming to you live, YouTube, Facebook, all those platforms. Just a platform where we come to talk about sports and how we transition from sports and things that are affecting sports and going on in our world. So this is gonna be another beautiful episode, man. How was your week, brother?
All was good, man. Besides, the stuff that we're gonna talk about, what's going on in the news and in our country and with our people, man. But besides that, man, I'm blessed. Can't complain. I'm excited to talk about the guests that we got going on tonight, man, and and just talk about when the lights go out, man. This is good info, free info. So
yes,
if you know, like you always say, Fletcher, somebody, share it, man, because we sharing gems. We giving y'all some good, some good stuff that we wish that we had, growing up and as well coming out, man. So stay tuned, man. It's something special for sure.
Yeah, this is definitely free game. We just here chopping it up. We here to learn as well. So we appreciate the comments. We appreciate the feedback. We need it, man. So like Marcus said, man, tell a friend to tell a friend. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Come check us out when the lights go out. We're here to share free game, chop it up with some people around the country who've played sports, who've made it to the highest level, who've transitioned out of sports and now on a second, third, fourth, fifth career. So without further ado, listen, this man, he's very special to me because he was in my recruiting class going into Rutgers some years ago. He was a JUCO transfer, but when I met him, all I seen was amazing football player, like amazing. He's from California by way of Shreveport, Louisiana. So he has that down south flair game to him. You know what I'm saying? When he get on that field, it's time to go to work. This man has done some great things with football. He's transitioned out of football, doing some things with the community, working well with sports, off and on, working with police in the community. So he's doing some big things, man. And without further ado, I would like to, for when the lights go out, to welcome my brother, your brother, your new brother, Mr. Reggie Stephens. Mr. Reggie Stephens. What's up, my brother?
Man, what's up? What's up, Rico, man? What's up, Marcus?
Listen, this is what you used to come out to, Reg, right here.
Yeah.
I know it was
the
a while
Hot
ago.
Boys, man. The Hot Boys. I had 2 CDs, man. Rest in peace, DMX, and I had the Hot Boys, man.
Hey,
rest in peace, DMX, man.
Yeah, man.
What's up?
Rest in peace, DMX. Say that again, brother.
what's that? 400 degrees? What's that?
That
What,
was
That was
400
the
degrees.
400 degrees, man. That was the thing, man. We had going on. That was the time everybody was rocking ice, spending a whole paycheck on an earring. It was crazy, man. Doing 2000. That was the year, man. We went to the Super Bowl, man, and that was the most funnest football season I have ever had. Even growing up in high school, junior college, man. That year we went to the Super Bowl. It was just a special moment,
Man,
special
listen, well,
time.
we'll get right into it. So since you mentioned it, man, 2000 Super Bowl, who were you playing for in 2000 when you made the Super Bowl, brother?
In 2000, man, it was my second year, and I was with the New York Giants. I was playing special teams. I was the backup nickel dime player. I was a starter as a dime. Started on the special teams, man, and that was the year, man. We went to the Super Bowl, played against the Baltimore Ravens. We ended up losing that game 35-10, and before you know it, the game was over with. You know, it's just like that. But I would say my most memorable moment was when we beat the Minnesota Vikings 41-0 at home, and then that got us to the Super Bowl. I'll never forget that because that was the time like I said, I got a chance to meet Lawrence Taylor. He was to my left, and P. Diddy was to my right. Man, that was a crazy experience. Taking it back and getting to the Super Bowl.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
listen, everybody out there, and we'll everybody will get to know Reg, but Reg has some unbelievable stories, man, and he's lived a real life through sports. You know, his journey is amazing. So we're gonna try to peel back some of those layers and hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
have him reveal some of these things that he's gone through throughout his life. But go ahead, ask your question, brother.
I was basically going. I mean, just because we got some young viewers watching too, Reg. I mean,
Okay.
I know as playing football and growing up in the neighborhood, man. I know a lot of people. We dreamed of that day playing the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
What was your feeling going up to that week? Like, what was some of the thoughts going through your head? Going to that week. Man,
Yeah.
wow.
Before I even get into that,
Yeah.
because you just said something that was kind of key. My thing was I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I never thought in my whole life I would live in California or live in New Jersey or New York. I
Wow.
just thought that would never ever happen in my life. So speeding it up to what your question is, that whole week was just like it was like a dream. You know what I mean? It was like you knew it was possible, but at the same time, once it's reality, once I'm calling my mama after the game and saying, "Mama, I'm going to the Super Bowl," and
Right.
I have an uncle by the name of Uncle Ricky, and he's never been on an airplane in his life, and that was the first time he flew was when he went down to Tampa, and we went to the Super Bowl. So it was a lot of things for me and my family. Me getting there was one thing, but the second thing was just like looking back on how hard we struggled. We stayed together as a family, and obviously that's one thing. But then even my teammates, some of the guys that were very special to me on on that team, just us getting there because there was a lot of journeyman players that came on that team, and that was their first time going to the Super Bowl. And here it is, my second year in the league, and
That's
my first year I was on the practice squad, and then I got active for the Buffalo game. That was my very first game, and then I thought they were going to send me off to NFL Europe, but they kept me around. And like I said, we got into that season, and next thing you know, I'm making plays, and then I'm helping this team get to a Super Bowl, and that was the most unbelievable moment of my whole life.
Yeah,
amazing.
listen, Reg, unbelievable. I want to shout out to Gary Fauntleroy. We
G
both
Font.
have we both can have connections to be Big G Font. What's
Yeah,
up, Font?
Gary took care of me, man. He took care of me.
Yeah. So if you just checking in, we got brother Reggie Stephens, former Scarlet Knight, former New York Giants, by way of Cabrillo College, right? Did I say it
Yeah,
right?
Cabrillo Junior College. That's where I went to junior college before I got a scholarship to Rutgers.
See?
So when you playing at a JUCO, right?
Hmm.
Bring us in your world. Are you still thinking that I can make it to the NFL?
That's
Is
a
that
great
still a
question.
goal of yours?
That's a great question, Delrico. I would say, coming out of high school, I didn't have the best grades, and no one kind of prepared me for, for what I needed to do in school. You know what I mean? And once I got to junior college, it was a second chance, and that's why they came up with the new reality show, The Last Chance U, because that's it. That's it. That's your last chance. And and it was one of those things that I kind of buckled down. I got took care of my schoolwork, man. I got a 3.5. GPA. So it was a test for me. And then obviously going up there and playing against college guys, because straight out of high school, you're 18 years old. But man, in JUCO, that might be somebody 22, 23. You got D1 bounce backs you're going against. So there was definitely a pivotal moment for me to buckle down and get myself ready to go to earn a scholarship. And that's what I was able to do.
It's not an easy path, man.
Nah, man, no food really. You know what I mean? Like, it was, everything's on the skim, man. It's like you're in a kind of like an adult, but not really.
Right.
And it's just it's definitely, you know, when you watch that TV show Last Chance U, if some of you guys have never seen it, it takes you behind the curtains of what like junior college football or basketball is like.
Right. How far were you from your support system? Like, how far were you know?
That's a good question. I was still here with my mom, but I had moved out. You know what I mean? I was like literally kind of like living with my girlfriend at the time, man, and I was just sitting there trying to find a way to kind of just grow up as an adult. You know what I mean? So because it was one of those things, man. It's like my mom, like, man, it was like I love my mom, but at the same time, it was got to be a man too. So I kind of took that on my own, because once you graduate high school, man, you kind of got to start, you know, thinking like, how are you going to do things on your own? So I kind of put it in perspective, and that helped me grow. That helped me grow up real quick.
Awesome, man.
So did JUCO? It seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that JUCO maybe it helped prepare you. You know, if you're not ready for that next step. Am I correct? Like, because
Yeah,
like you said, you know your grades weren't where you wanted
yeah,
them and where they needed to be, but that's another step in another avenue. And I bring that up because there's a lot of young men and women across this country who, when we leave high school, we're not ready to go to a real big
no.
university or college campus. So maybe you know, a 2-year or a community college or a JUCO would be the way. Explain that a little bit about what a JUCO did for you.
Okay, and I had missed a whole little section. So when I went to JUCO out of high school, I gray shirted. And if you don't know what gray shirting is, that's you're taking 11 units. You're not taking 12. So if you take 12, you're a full-time student. So I took 11, so my clock didn't start. And I don't know if you guys understand if your clock starts. So if I went there, took 12 units and didn't play football and just say, hey, you know, I'm just going to go to school, see how everything goes. But your clock will actually start, you know, as far as your eligibility. So my clock didn't start by taking 11 units. Plus, I had to get an AA degree. So that means I had to get 60 units to be able to transfer to Rutgers. So that's why I went there. So I was in junior college for 3 years. So that first
Okay.
year, I didn't use a red shirt. It was basically a gray shirt. Took 11 units. And then after that, you know, I played my first year the next season, and I ended up playing 2 years there. So total 3 years before I was able to get out and go to Rutgers. But when I was there, you know, you learn a lot. You know, coaches, you got different coaches. This ain't high school. You go into class, and the coaches are on you about it. But at the same time, you know, you have to mature very fast. You know, I wasn't a weight room guy. Got into the weight room there. So I definitely think it was good for me. And the funny thing about it is, through my foundation, I went back and I coached 3 years at the junior college. And those guys, just a lot of the kids that came from Florida. We had kids from New Jersey. We had kids from everywhere. And I was basically able to tell them my story of how I made it through junior college, because some of the kids come way across the way just to go to junior college because they don't have junior college in their
Right.
state. So, you know, so just to give back there and walk on that campus again and coach there for 3 years, man, was pretty amazing, because I saw myself all over again in those kids. And I was able to tell my story and help a lot of those guys out get to the next level.
Listen, unbelievable story. Every Thursday, check us out when the lights go out. Listen, I want to bring everybody into our world. Excuse the graininess of the video, but you'll get what I'm getting at. I want to show everybody a clip of brother Reggie Stephens when he was doing his thing and let you know how good he was, because a lot of people we got cued in, you know, some people are from Pittsburgh and they know about ball. Some people cued in from Cali. They know about ball. From down south, they know about football. So, you know, here's a clip of brother Reggie versus Miami, and hopefully it goes pretty smoothly, and we can all see how he did his thing back in the day.
Well, move and go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah.
We'll move and go.
Uh-huh.
And that's against the U.
That's versus the Canes. That's why I showed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Miami.
I'm looking at all the homies right there, man. Everybody. Wow.
That's amazing, man.
Now listen, we don't watch highlights just once, man. We give flowers, we're gonna show it twice, man. Because this was a big deal, man. Miami was really good at this time. And this is how a diamond in the rough is found.
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
Rutgers didn't have the biggest name, didn't have any name. It's definitely not what it is now and what it turned into the early 2000s. But somebody like Reggie was a diamond in the rough, and he was able to be found because of a play made against one of the better colleges in the country. So, and I'm there and I'm watching, and I just see my brother. Like I said, you were a JUCO transfer, so you were a few years older than me, and I could vividly remember Terry Shea saying, this is a guy you should be like. This is a guy you want to be like. I mean, the athleticism was off the charts. So, from somebody that's a few years younger than you, I just want to say thank you because, the work you put in the foundation and the blueprint you laid, is certain things that I've taken and passed on to younger people that I was able to touch. I'm thinking about a Traz Moses who went to Rutgers after me, and he was so similar to you. Like he could have played wherever on the field, offense, defense. So I just wanted to show everybody a little clip of Reg and the things that he used to do back in the day.
I appreciate that. The first thing I think about how hot it was that game, because it was hot. I was just trying to get to the sideline to get some water. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was so hot in that game, humid. Yeah, man, that was a hot game.
Listen, hey Mark, you know what it's like. What's it like? Because I seen that hole open up, man. Bro. You seen Reg catch that ball. What's it like when you see that hole open up, man?
Listen, that hole open up, man. It's it's gonna close soon, so you better get through there and roll, man.
Yeah.
Because anytime you hit that hole, there's somebody that got the angle on you. So if you ain't ready, you might lose your life on that. But you see that hole open up, you got to get through there and roll, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I remember I remember quick side story. I remember playing against we played Syracuse on a Thursday night. Mm-hmm. Reg, it was 90. It was 97. We played them on a Thursday night, and McNabb was still there. And I returned the opening kickoff. And listen, Mark, it was nothing like Whippy ball. This hole opened and closed immediately. Immediately. Like, listen, man. Listen. I was like, oh yeah, it's no more hesitating with this thing. We getting this thing, and if I'm just gonna run up somebody's back, man, that's what it's gonna be, man. Because I'm not letting this happen anymore, man.
The difference between high school kickoff and kickoff return is high school. You got cats that don't really get no playing time. You go to college, they gonna put some head busters on that kickoff team.
Oh yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? They put some of the most athletic linebackers. Your most athletic. You might even get a DN or two, but you can't catch one of. You get
linebackers and DBs.
You want people. You want somebody that you about to get hit by somebody that wants some playing time. They're trying to kill you. So that, like you said, that hole closed up so fast, man. You like, you get real confident. You start raising up. Don't do it. Don't raise up too soon. That's when kickoff return to college, man. And
did you play with David Tyree?
Who, me?
Yes.
No, I didn't play with David Tyree.
Okay.
I was there. I think I was there. I was there before him. He came right after me. After that, I went over to the Broncos. I was there because I bounced around a little bit. Went to spend some time with Coach Shea in Kansas City, and then ended up in arena ball, and that's when I retired. But David Tyree was a bad boy. He's a legend.
It's funny. I mean, we know him for making the circus catch, the helmet catch in the Super Bowl.
Special teams, man.
Yeah, but even in college, because I'm telling the Syracuse story, he's the one who got the good pop on me back in college, man. I was a freshman returning the kick for Rutgers, And I would, I'm like, yeah, I'm hype. Man, but Syracuse at the time, Syracuse was the real deal in the Big East. Like they
Mm-hmm.
was, it was legit. Shout out to my brother Madi because he ended up going to the Q. So shout out to my brother Mo. But
Nice.
yeah, it's a small world, and like I told you behind the scenes, and we could see up in the screen, you got the big RS on your chest,
Oh
which
yeah.
makes me very proud, man, because I know somebody who used sports and took it to his highest level, but also is reaping the benefits of sports. You know what I'm saying? Like we play it, but we also want to be able to walk away from it, tell our story, and be able to help people behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So with you creating the Reggie Stephens Foundation, what was like your mission statement? What was the main goal or purpose behind you creating it?
Yeah, and we'll start with the mission statement. Seek, believe, achieve. And my whole life, man, I kind of knew what I wanted. I'm not gonna lie. When I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, man, I used to have a football, be playing in the backyard, throw the ball to myself. My favorite team growing up was the Dallas Cowboys, and growing up in Shreveport, Louisiana, I mean, I was literally in the sticks. Like when I say the country, it was the country, dirt roads, the whole thing. And then ended up moving to the city, and then next thing you know, I was in Santa Cruz, California, in 1989, and that dream was still there. And it was just something that I knew I could do. Just like I don't know if you know. I mean, we all know that if you get that feeling and you think hard enough on something, you can accomplish it. You can get it, and that's what I was able to do. And just getting to the NFL and doing all the things that I did, that was a great thing. And then after I was done, I was like, what can I do to kind of tell my story through something? And then it was just the Reggie Stephens Foundation. I did at first I was thinking of a name. What am I going to do here? I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I was just like, you know what? It's the Reggie Stephens Foundation because I'm who I am. I can only tell my story. My story is who I am, and that's pretty much it. So once I got that, then I said, what colors I'm gonna go with, and then I went with the Rutgers colors, and because everyone was like, well, man, why is it red and black? Because I was able to get a scholarship, and getting a scholarship is hard, and a lot of people don't know how hard it is to get a scholarship. It's one of the hardest things to do. So. And then starting the foundation, I didn't even start with football. I started with basketball because my son at the time was a high school basketball player, and I had to go through AAU and watch him do all of this stuff and be a father. And I did it, and I did a great job of it because he got a scholarship to go to Pepperdine University, full ride scholarship to go there, private school. And now he's working on getting his master's. And so throughout that whole process, I created
Salute,
AAU
salute.
basketball. Yeah, I created an AAU basketball program through RSF. We give scholarships out. I help kids in a lot of different things, not just sports. I'm now trying to, help some kids in music, or if they want to know business, have a t-shirt company, whatever it is. If a kid comes to me with any type of goal, I want to be able to help them, not just sports. And that's what I pride myself on. And coming back to Santa Cruz, California, where I kind of grew up at when I moved here in 1990, and I've just been able to do a really good job here. High school coach. I've coached high school football for 10 years. I coached junior college for 3 years. I've helped kids get to D1. I've helped some kids get to the NFL. So I'm just fortunate to be able to do some things that some people helped me with when I was growing up. I did have some help. I mean, one of the guys that really helped me was Raymond Ferris. That's Jerry Rice's only trainer. His name is Raymond Ferris. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. And I learned a lot through him and just how he was able to work with me, teach me a bunch of techniques, and just take his time with me. And that's what I do to a lot of young student athletes now. It's just basically, I always want to know I want to know more about them. You play football, that's cool. You play basketball, cool, hockey, whatever you do, but I want to know who you are. And that's what I think that what makes me a little bit different is I want to know if you're not going to play that sport, what are you going to fall back on? What else do you have in your body that you want to do, what you want to go and accomplish? So I think I've done a pretty good job with that, with my foundation, helping out.
Listen, you said some very powerful stuff, and I know Marco will agree. Like I think when we realize that we're more than just the athlete, when we're
Mm-hmm.
more than just a person who plays this sport. And granted, it's a big conversation in the news cycles now, just shut up and dribble and shut up and play. And then you got ignorant people like Brett Favre, who's saying the things that he's saying. It's because they know we more than just athletes. You know what I'm saying? And when we could teach that to our young people at an early age, like, you don't have to just fall back on sports,
Right.
because you can make a decision. I want us to be able to get to a point like Andrew Luck. I was just watching this story. He just walked away from football, and make more money doing whatever else he's doing. Like, that's where we need to get to. Like, that's where I would love for us to get to. And people like you, who giving young people the tools and telling them, listen, I'll sit down. Who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not just a person who's going to tackle.
But you know where that comes from, Delrico? Because when I was coming up, or any kid coming up in the hood or inner city, whatever, it's like, man, if I could just make it to the NBA, I can buy my mama a house. We can get them out the ghetto. We can, it's the same story over and over and over, right? So the thing is, if that's what we embed for so long, that's just what it becomes. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to get it through sports. Now, I mean, you got kids making apps. You got kids becoming young CEOs, create a clothing brand, do music. There's so many different outlets, right? But I was even missing it, So when I started, it was just like, okay, let me go give back to sports, because that's how I got it. It was sports. But then when I started to look at myself, I have a media company. I do music. I do all these different things. And I go, you know what? Let me start really digging into my bag and pulling out more than just me being a football coach or a AAU basketball coach, or having a program. Right. And then when I met with our chief of police down there at the Santa Cruz, down here, I met with the Santa Cruz Warriors, I met with the Golden State Warriors, and I met with our police department, based on everything that's going on. And the one thing I said, I wanted to see was more Black businesses in Santa Cruz County. And I said, well, how is that going to happen? And that's when I started to go, man, I got to start teaching these kids about LLCs, sole proprietors, corporations, things of that nature, because Right. They don't know. We don't even know that. I went to Rutgers and I still didn't learn that. I didn't learn that until way after. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here and I have 2 businesses, a foundation. I'm getting ready to get my real estate license. And I'm just going to give you guys a quick little thing. Me being a coach, last week, we played a 6-game season. I had a kid, he's a junior. And he said, I don't want to play at the next level. I just, want to get a job. And I was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And then he said, I want to be a fireman. So you know what I did? I picked up the phone, called one of my buddies that's a fireman, set up a meeting for that kid that's a junior in high school to go over and meet with this fire chief, so then he can get on path of being a fireman. So right then and there, I knew that I can impact these kids in a whole different way than just, okay, because everybody ain't going to NFL. Everybody's not going to NBA.
Right.
And then I gave him another plan, because he said he wants to do real estate. I said, why don't you be a fireman until about 40 years old, retire, then go get your real estate license, and you can jump on. The kid looked at me like, wow, like I gave him a life plan. And I know if someone would have gave me that at 18, 17, I'd have been like, what? Like that. And now I'm planning out my own son and my own daughter, so now if I'm able to do that, that's the stuff that I'm bringing to the table. And I'm sure all of us, we can do that, because we all know, man, everybody showed us how to play football,
man,
but they didn't sit down and say, this is how you balance your checkbook. This is how you do this. This is how you keep your credit up. All those things that I feel like those are the things that's most important right now, especially for our Black community, our Black culture. We got to start digging deeper and doing things like that. And I think we all can do that. We all can do that.
It would have made life so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
So much easier if we'd have had that kind of lingo going around. I mean, me and Delrico coming from out of an area that was basically, you just had to play ball to get out of the hood. I mean,
right.
I grew up with a father that had a PhD in education, but he spent so much time with me outside and on the court and the baseball field and the football field. That's all I knew, man. And I put all my eggs in the basket, and I try to tell my son, I even got him in the BMX bike riding and stuff. I said, you have to expand your mind. Don't just subject it to playing football, man. I mean, you know, it feels good. Me and Delrico always talk about that feeling of scoring a touchdown. It's almost addicting. You know, you hear the crowd roar and you running down the sideline and you got your boys smack you in the helmet and you know, just goes, you know, it would go further to the newspaper articles, the television coverage. It's very addicting. But after the lights go out, what skills do I have? I don't have any skills. I mean, I'm a semi-fair. I would give myself as far as communication. You know, where my degree is, I'm okay communicator, but what are the skills that these schools are giving these kids? A lot of these schools just want you to score touchdowns and bring some money into their stadiums and stuff like that. But listen to Reg, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters, listen to a Reg. Reg is telling you exactly what's going on and what you should be thinking. There's a lot more other than playing some ball. It's good, but there's so much more to life, man. There's so much more.
And you know, and a lot of them get caught up in the money, and you know, thinking, you know, when they see the NFL and the NBA contracts, the hundreds of millions. I'm gonna tell you, I played at that level, man. Everyone doesn't make that money. You know, it's just you got the core 11 starters that make that money, and then after that, you know, everybody else has kind of got to get in where they fit in.
It trickled down fast.
Yeah, it trickled down. It trickled down so quick, and then when the taxes hit you and all these different things, but yeah, but that's what I've been kind of standing for is basically what more do I have to offer as a man? And even me, right? Preaching to my my kids, like, and my kids are so smart. They're like, my daughter's a 4.6, Deja Stevens, my son Kaijay Yee Stevens was a 4.2, and amazing, right?
It's beautiful.
But the thing is, with my kids, they held me accountable. Because I went back to school. I went back to Rutgers and got my degree, you know? And I did that like, I want to say a year ago. And I said my goal was to graduate before my son graduated. I graduated 2 weeks before him, you know? And it was a thing that it was a thing that I wanted, because when I came out, I went straight to the Giants. And then, you know, you play, and then next thing you know, you're making money. You act like you really don't need that degree. But it was something for me that I needed, because it was always sitting like right back here, like, man, I got to go finish it. I got to go finish it.
Yes.
And I wanted to finish it for my mom, and I wanted to finish it for my kids, because the last thing I want to do is be harping on them or preaching to the kids in my foundation about education, and I don't have my degree. So I took it upon myself to go bang that thing out. I got it. And that was the one thing that I was probably, I would say, the most proudest of is when the NFL Trust sent me this ball. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
When they sent me that, man, that was amazing. When I got that, you know.
Wow.
And everything I've accomplished, man, like a whole bunch of different things. That right there, you know, was like when I got that in the mail, I was like, whoa, you know, it didn't even feel real. And I remember talking to Gary Fauntleroy about it. I'm gonna go back to school. And he was like, come on, Reg, you got it. And you know, he helped me get through it, and talked to some other guys too as well. But, you know, that was the thing that when I look in these kids and I talk to them, you know, I can tell them my story, how I went back and got it. You know, it's never too late to, you know, to finish what you started. You know, that's the main thing, is be a finisher. I don't care what you're doing. Finish.
Listen, the real game on when the lights go out, man, from former New York Giant, former Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Reggie Stephens. Raj, we appreciate you joining us, giving up the game on this Thursday evening. Every Thursday evening, we're trying to bring to you people who could give us some knowledge and some education, to the point that even if your children aren't sitting with you right now, you could point them to this platform to say, listen, there's people up here talking about this, man, and they doing it for nothing, man. So, so I want to say thank you, because you're doing a million things, man. You got a foundation, you got children, you being pulled all kind of ways, man. And I reached out to you on several occasions, and you was right there, man, picking up the phone, answering emails, answering calls, man. So from your brother, man, I appreciate you so much, man.
But you know, but you know, I want to say to you, to Delrico, man, we went to college together and everything, and I know how hard you worked and everything you did, and it's just a pleasure to be on this show with you, Marcus. And the thing is, man, it's just like, I know. And the thing is, man, we didn't even go into like injuries and things, all that stuff.
No, we still got a little time. We still got
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know, man. You kind of, I don't know how you did it, but you held it together, man. Because I know you was hurting, you had back issues and stuff like that, and you were able to finish that thing up, man. Which is, I got to take my hat off to you for that. You know what I mean? Because you never complained about nothing. You just showed up and you did it, and that was pretty awesome, man.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, listen, everybody who knows me and people in the comments who follow me, I appreciate everybody. But they know, listen, we went into it last week. I started as a 14-year-old kid in high school, and my body was just beat down. Like from that day forward, my shoulders and my ankles and my back was just like, you should have chose basketball, man. But there's nothing like ball, especially being in Pittsburgh. We got to run through, play at the Wolverina, and a lot of people across the country, they don't get to play in places like the Wolverina that hold 10,000 fans, you know what I'm saying? In a high school game when it's packed, you playing Penn Hills on a Friday night back in the 90s, or McKeesport or Central, it used to be outrageous. But you know the grind of football, man. Reg, you know how
Yeah.
taxing it is on your body.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little insight about, think back to one time you went through a surgery and you had to bounce back. That first day when you got back off of that, back into your hospital bed, like what was going through your mind as far as your mental health and your status about, moving forward from this injury?
The funny thing is I just had a surgery. I've had two surgeries in the last 2 years. My last surgery that I just had was December 28th on knee from football. But my very first one was my my senior year. Right in that summer, I got my knee scoped, and it was like a 4-week heal up. And that went right there. I was like, man, shouldn't be getting no surgeries in high school, So, but the thing was, man, it was a sore knee, and it got into preseason. It got better, so that was my rehab, was just basically going to practice. Because back then, that's how they could just scope you up real quick and then clean you up, and then you're back. It was a meniscus. But I think my most challenging surgery was my foot surgery, because being a defensive back, I'm always on my feet. I'm cutting, doing all these different things. And I ended up tearing my brevis and my longest tendon. And I remember going to see a doctor, and the doctor was like, and I tore the brevis and the longest because I tore my plantar fascia. So if people don't know what
Okay.
the plantar fascia is, like, so if this is your foot, it's like right in your heel. And it
Yes.
always felt like every time I took a step, like a nail was going up in my foot. And it was the worst feeling ever. And I remember I played that was the Super Bowl year. I played the whole year on a torn brevis and longus, and got down to the Super Bowl, and they didn't let me play because if I would have went out and did any cut, I would have tore the brevis and the longus. So it's basically a tendon looks like spaghetti, like cooked spaghetti. And if you was to take like a razor blade and barely cut it, and it's just barely hanging on, that's literally how my two tendons were hanging on. And if I would have snapped both those tendons, who knows if they could have repaired them back then, or whatever the situation is. So I ended up going in, getting the surgery done. That was a whole year for me to rehab and be able to come back. And when I came back, I definitely wasn't the same. You have a little, not a limp, but you just don't have the range of motion that my right foot had because it was on my left. And then from there, it was just downhill. Then I tore my knee. And then it just went boom, 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 boom. Because it's weird, like it's like almost like a car alignment. Once you get the alignment off in the car, like everything starts to go off. And literally that's what happened to me. And that happened early on in my career. And I was still able to play 4 years NFL, 2 years arena ball. But it got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And I'm still, when I was coaching at Cabrillo, walking, I'm telling you, man, it was like I had to go get surgery on my foot again. So that was my second surgery on my plantar fascia. And I'm still, now I got to wear these crazy shoes with like this thick heel called Hokas. My daughter's, no, not the Skechers. I ain't get the Skechers. I got the Hokas. And my daughter was making fun of me. She was making fun of me, man. And I was just like, you have no idea what my body feels like when I get up in the morning. But, I do a pretty good job keeping myself in shape. And that's a big deal to try to keep the weight down, but at the same time, man, them surgeries were all here. Everything mental. And I had like Raymond Ferris, I had the best trainer every year he would get me back. He'd get me back to full form. But it was definitely more of a mental thing than the physical thing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That bounces back from injuries, no joke, man. It only the strong survive, man. Because it's a scary place to be, man. It's scary.
Yeah,
it's a very scary place, man. But you right.
Yeah, the 8 of them, man. 8 surgeries. It was crazy.
8 of them, man. 8. Listen, from the time, that's why I tell young people and you fellas know, you have to get as much as you can from these universities as possible if you play in these sports, especially football. You give so much of your body. I mean, I'm sitting here right now, fingers and thumb still like, oh my goodness, and ankles and back. And so yes, the game is great. We love the game. It's addicting.
Right.
It's everything you could think of, man. It's intoxicating, but it is taxing, man. It takes a toll on you, man. It really does.
I mean, I'm happy you brought that up, Delrico, because that is the truth. And that's what I mean, going back to getting your degree and getting things and situations like that, because at the end of the day, you get beat up so much, you got to have something to fall back on, because they're going to get everything out you, then some, definitely in college. I felt like college, I'm going to be honest, man, college was a little probably rougher than the NFL. College was a grind. That was
demanding.
A real grind. It was demanding on the body. Then you got to go to class. You had a lot of things going on, and it was just I won't forget that, man. Rutgers was 3-a-day training camp.
Back when it was still 3 days.
I'll never forget the 3-a-day training camp.
No. See, but we're gonna give the people insight on the 3-a-days though, because at Rutgers University, this is their great idea. We drank inshore before the first practice of 3-a-day. We drank milk before the first practice of the day, and they thought that was a good thing to do, man. Milk. That's what I love. Rutgers. I ain't gonna lie. It was 2 different places when Terry Shea was there and Greg Schiano was there. It was night and day, and I committed to absolute loyalty. So I mess with the slogan and all my teammates from back then, but it was night and day. Ain't no way in the world JB and Coach Schiano would have gave us milk before the first practice. We'd have in short, man. And it was crazy. It was just it was a different day and age,
man. Camp is doing hard. It's a hot time of year, man.
And they were giving us creatine.
Yes. There was the creatine days.
Remember creatine? I remember we played Virginia Tech, the whole team cramped up.
Yeah. Mike and Skip, boy, they was dumping creatine in.
Hey, as soon as you walk through the gym door, there you had to take a scoop. And I'm like, what? Cass was cramping up, man, that first game, Virginia Tech, and I was just like, man, yep. Me, I was like, because I don't like taking stuff anyways. But yeah, they had us on that creatine, man, and it was that was the thing that was in at that time. So it's pretty crazy.
Drank milk before every practice. That's why we didn't win, man. You can't. They really thought it was doing the body good, man. They was killing.
That's funny.
Man, that's hilarious, man.
The thing is, two fellas, we were going to camp before Corey Stringer died. So when Corey Stringer died, it changed the whole aspect of camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The way they did football camp was totally different. Like, we weren't getting water every 5-10 minutes.
Right.
You might get water 4th period, and you only had 30 seconds to get there. So it was like, Corey Stringer saved a lot of brothers' lives, man.
Yeah.
And God rest his soul, man. But
listen, it's crazy you said that, because I would be remiss without mentioning what's going on in the country and everything, because we are 3 black men. Corey Stringer was a black man, and that changed things in the NFL. And I don't want to celebrate, because it's never a moment to celebrate when a man loses his life.
No doubt.
But I do want to say, shout out to George Floyd and his family, and everybody who was a part of the fight, trying to get justice for that man, and seeing accountability for people who want to take our lives, like we don't matter, like we don't, like we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
belong. And we all three black men, so that's why I brought it up. I don't want to change the kind of the mood of the show, but it's too important because a lot of times in sports, we'll have our superhero cape on a Friday night, on a Saturday afternoon, or a Sunday afternoon, NFL Monday night, and people love us. They'll cheer for you, they'll root for you, but then when you take that off, you just a regular George Floyd. You just a regular black man in this country.
Right.
And
Yeah.
things have to change, man. And I hope, what makes me nervous is that the day they announce it, we have more shootings and more killings of people who look like us, who,
Mm-hmm.
are as young as our children now. You know what I'm saying? We raising young men and women. So it comes a level of concern, nervousness. But I just want to tell everybody, just like Reg, man, find your calling, find what it is you could do that could really help. Find what it is that your niche is that you could give back to our community to feed our people, to move our people forward. That's what it's really about. You use, what you have and what you're great at to give back and to help somebody else who's less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say I hope he didn't die in vain, and I hope people keep fighting and keep trying for more and more and more and more, because that's what's needed. I mean, we know it's not right. We shouldn't even have had a trial anyway. We
No.
all played football where it was told film don't lie.
Yeah.
Film don't lie. And he was looking at the film and the footage, and you seen the demon in his eyes. Why we even gotta have a court case for this, man? This dude should be out of here. But I just want to shout out his family. I hope everybody was
Yeah.
able to have a peaceful night's rest finally. From all the craziness going on, man, because a lot of our people are out there and they immersed in it, and they following it and everything, and it's like you just enamored by it, man. And so I hope everybody could take a step back and a breather and kind of reset, to move forward and to hopefully just do better, man, because that's what this thing is all about.
That's it. I mean, that's all we can do, man. I mean, a lot of people in this country. I mean, just by watching it, especially our people, the only thing we can do is better ourselves, man. We got to work on ourselves, man. Through this whole ordeal, we just got to better ourselves, man. Be a little bit more supportive. We so easily just down each other, man, so fast, man. Even with the, right after, what was the same day that the verdict came out for George Floyd, the young lady in Ohio was murdered. Of course, we got mixed reviews and everything, but my honest opinion, I just think, if it was if the shoe was on the other foot, meaning if it was a different race, I think they'd have had a little bit more consideration to it, man. And that's,
Yeah.
fortunate that it went down like that, man. I'm sure some people are like, well, she put it on herself, and then some people like, that was totally foul. I mean, whether we want to believe it or not, or whatever you believe in, Judgment Day is going, whether it's going to come from a judge here on earth or he's going to have to meet his maker, man. And
Yeah.
that's just the thing, man. We dealing with, man. We're in some sad times, man. And I often ask my father, my older relatives, like, how'd y'all deal with it in the 60s and stuff like that? Because it was happening on they didn't have no phones and stuff. That stuff was happening every day. You know what I mean? So it's just different, man. It's different.
It's been going on forever, man. And my thing is, when I met with our chief of police, it's like this. It's like being able to do something and there's no repercussion to it, so you can kind of like bend the rules a little bit and you can kind of bend things. And I think that's what's been going on for you. Even say what you said, going back in the day, like how did they deal with it? Well, back then they had no one to really answer to. This is probably the only time, 2021, that just happened right now, that they're probably going to put a law in or a rule in or something based on the way George Floyd passed away. And like I said, when I was meeting with our chief, they don't have, like, how you just get written up. They can do that. And they never have someone policing them, if that makes sense. And I think eventually that's what's going to happen. So you just, you can't just get away with things like that, because, like if I'm on a football team, I show up 3 times late, I'm going to get cut. That's it. See you later. Love how you play, but we can't have that. But with police, like they just get time after time after time. So when they know they can do that, these are the type of things that happen. And hopefully they change where they are held accountable for their actions and what they're doing, because it has to start somewhere, man. But look how long it's taken for that conversation.
But that's why
we're in 2021. We're in 2021 right now.
Yeah, but that's why
this is the first time they're having that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's why everyone celebrated so much. Right? I think, the fact that people actually seen a verdict where it didn't go the opposite way. Seeing the verdict being him, seeing him being guilty on all 3 counts, and him being actually handcuffed and carried out the courtroom. I think that's where a lot of people go, well, look how they celebrating. We never seen that before. That's something that's uncharted territory for us. We never seen that, man. So, it's mind-boggling, man, for sure.
Yes, it is, man. And the young lady's name was Ma'Khia Bryant. A lot of times, we will, this is a male-dominated world. And granted, the women have been allowed to voice their opinions, and their voices have been heard a little bit more over the last few years. But listen, man, when it's the young women and the kids, there's really an issue, man.
Yeah.
Like, because granted, George Floyd, it didn't have to go that way. But men, we are able to protect ourselves a little bit better than the women and the kids. Like, those are the innocent and the older. These are the people who should be protected. And it doesn't seem to be happening, man. So hopefully, with people like Reg, Mark, we out here fighting and trying to take a slice and throw stones at the beast any way we can to change some of these laws and these policies that are going on out here. Pardon, our brother is having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it's okay. Me and my brother will hold it down for the last few minutes. But yeah, her name is Ma'Khia Bryant. Listen, we need to get all the facts before we go ahead and make any assumptions or judge, because we aren't judges. We aren't God. We aren't the people that should be judging. We should wait, sit back, do what we can to make it just better, so we don't have to deal with these kind of situations, because we've seen it, man. A lot of this stuff, like Red said, it's mental. A lot of these are mental health issues as well. And our people don't have outlets. I know this is a sports platform, and what I was going to say based on that is a lot of these teams, I think all of these teams, especially if they come into your home and they offering you scholarships and want to take your children away from you, and they go 500, 600, 700 miles away, like, there needs to be people on these staffs that deal with mental health, so my children have outlets. So that people, because I couldn't imagine being a kid playing in COVID times. No. Like, you want me to still play? I got to come out here and play with a mask on. You want me to get vaccines? You want me to stay away from people? Everybody staying away from everybody but us. We the ones coming to play. But the rest of the world is staying away from. So it has to be confusing for young people. And I just think there should be people on the staff, not just coaches, some trained people to help young people deal with all of the mental health issues that are going on out here in the world, because there's a million of them now. Like, we didn't deal with a pandemic when we were playing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I dealt with 9/11.
Yeah.
But after a moment, that eased up. They've had us on lockdown for over a year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And young people have had to deal with this. And so we know, there's been dropouts, kids dropping out of school. You know what I'm saying? Football teams not being able to play. This kid ain't even coming to school. Basketball team not being able to play. They ain't even coming no more. That was their reason for coming. So a lot of these children are dealing with, issues that we can see before they happen. So we speaking on it to helpfully build a bridge to where we helping young people. So, I got the Infinite Mind and Body, and we do mentor counseling and life coaching. If you got young people out there, reach out. If you have young people, Infinite Mind and Body, we do mentor, counseling, life coaching. Reach out for your young people. It's mandatory. We gotta have places where there's people like Reggie who've went through it, who knows what it's like to go to community college, to go to a 4-year university, to go to the NFL, get hurt, get cut, bounce back, find a stride. Like all of this needs to be taught to our young people. And so when we have people out there and they recruiting us, these are questions that we need to ask.
Right.
We trying to build a bridge. We trying to build a bridge between all of us and the young peoples out there, so it's a little easier for them to cross and come back and do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? And somebody had put it up earlier in the comments. It's about networking, man. So reach out to Reg, man. Show some support for the Reggie Stephens Foundation. If you on the West Coast, show some love. Volunteer. If you on the East Coast, let him know how you can help with Zoom calls and setups and things like that. Like, we have to build these bridges, man. It's so mandatory.
The funny thing is, Delrico, I just talked to Jabari Moore.
Jabari Moore.
Yeah, and me and him, we working together. He worked for NCSA, and he's helping me with the foundation, and I'm helping him with his new venture with working with NCSA, and this helping kids get scholarships, get recruited, and things of that nature. And just like I'm working with you, you know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing that we can do that. I've always talked to Gary. I've talked to the PC, Peter Clark. I've talked to Garrett Shays doing amazing things. But, I just look at some of the teammates. That's the best place you can start is with your teammates, reaching out to them. First of all, to check up on them. You know what I mean? That'd be number one. And number two, just kind of see what they're doing. So a lot of things I've done has been done with like a lot of my teammates, So and you want to know what they're doing in their communities, and and maybe they aren't doing anything in their community, and maybe it's a situation where you can give them some little tidbits so they can start to do some things. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me, how do I keep my mental health okay? Well, the way I keep it okay is I stay busy, I stay doing things, I keep reaching, trying to find more knowledge, and I think that's what keeps me from going to a dark place, is being able to give back and do a lot of things that that I wanted to do. Because at the end of the day, when football was over, when I hung up those cleats, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I had an idea what I was going to do. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, like, I didn't know which path I wanted to go on. Was it the music thing? Was it this? Or do I want to do it all? And I was able to do some really nice things just based on me having a lot of people in my life that I was able to count on to show me different things. And that's the one thing that, I've been on my son about, because he went through Pepperdine, got injuries, 4 surgeries, all. And that next thing you know, I said, man, look, they're paying for your school. You need to get as much out of that as you can. Then helped him transfer to Cal State San Bernardino to get his master's. So now he's going to be getting his master's in cybersecurity. He'll be probably 24 years old when he graduates, and he'll have a master's degree. To me, I don't care about 1,000 points at Pepperdine you scored, or 2,000. None of that matters. What matters is what you're going to be able to walk away with that education and have that longevity money, which I'm like, if you get a job at 25, 26 and you're making over 100, 150, $200,000, you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do, and then teach them how to invest. So that's kind of like what, I started looking at. But at the same time, the things I went through and that my parents didn't know, I was able to pass that along and help that with my kids. And I think that's what I get the most happiest about. That is the knowledge that I had to be able to walk my son and my daughter through their high school, get them ready for college. I'm gonna call my buddy up, Jabari, that I went to college. He went to a JUCO. He went to Rutgers with me, and now here we are helping each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing. And I've had a bunch of Rutgers alums help me with my kids, believe it or not.
That's amazing.
The college I went to, that I was able to call them up, help me with a resume for my son, or whatever the situation is. And that's the network that we have. For us to even be sitting here talking on your show, and how much we're going to be able to pass that along to a lot of other people, which is an amazing thing.
Listen, I'm hyped. I'm thankful. I'm indebted, brother. Like I'm just like so many things running back through my head because when I first met you, man, I was 17 years old, just leaving Pittsburgh and meeting you, and you was all the way from the other side of the country. And,
Yeah.
and we had one thing in common is that we wanted to play ball. Shout out to Eric Nessbaum because he was one of the people who
Nas bomb.
tried to put me back together like a puzzle,
Hey,
man.
hey, I just see Eric chapped in. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
My wrist still hurts, Eric. I hurt my wrist, man, my junior year, and he said, "Man, it's probably gonna be hurt for the rest of your life." I
Yeah.
remember that,
Nah,
and he was right, and
shout out to
and even that Eric Nosbon, I got to give a shout out to him because when my son went through a really nasty knee surgery, that was the first person I called, Delrico. I called Eric Nosbaum and I talked to him, and he was able to give me some information. But once again, it was in my network from me going to college and meeting people, and even when I went to the Giants, Eric Nosbaum, he hooked me up with Kennelly that was over at the Giants. So when I got there, I already knew somebody.
The bridge building is real,
and it was just building the bridge, man. And I still talk to him today. You know what I mean? And he was a special person in my life because of the way he was able to take care of me in that room. Going in there getting treatment. And he was a truthful and kind and caring person. And to this day, man, we're still talking and trying to get more information. So to me, shout out to Eric.
Yeah,
Man.
those people,
he's
just like our last week's guest, Mark, Coach D, Eric did the same thing. Those people that you spend time with, who try to help you heal and put you back together, you spend a lot of intimate moments with them people. So you learn a lot from those people, man. So shout out to Eric. But like what you've said has been invaluable. We want to thank you, Reg. Like I really appreciate the time. Like anybody out there, like I said, man, reach out, show your support, volunteer if you can. I know Mark, it's been a good experience for Mark as well. Hearing some of the things that we hear, because it's our platform and our show, but a lot of times we the ones who get to learn. This is our therapy session. We tricked everybody. We tricked everybody, man. We tricked everybody. Yeah, they thought we was doing this for y'all. This is for us, man. This is our therapy. Nah.
Yeah,
but
man.
like you said, learning yourself and learning how to detach sometimes, learning how to keep yourself out of the dark place because isolation, not away from your family, your friends, that kind of thing could be. It could take on a life of its own, man. So listen, from the bottom of our heart, when the lights go out, want to thank you, Reg. We really appreciate you. I appreciate you commenting. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Mark, please, if you got something to say before we close it out, please give it to him, my brother.
Say y'all like this. Like we said, you're getting free game. But the main thing is you got Delrico with infinite mind and body, and Reg with his organization. Don't be too proudful. You got to reach out to these out to these people, man. You reach out to these dudes. If they can't help you, they're gonna find somebody that can help you. You gotta let that pride go, man. Mental health, mental illness is real, man. And we ain't even tap into CTE and all the other things, but it's real, man. You got some issues, man. If you want to talk, reach out to these brothers, not only for support, but for some assistance, man. We love every single one of y'all. We love y'all, man. Appreciate everything. Reg, you too, man.
Thank you, man. Love you guys, man. And
hey, Reg, close us out, Reg. Give us something. Give something to people, man.
What I would say, man, just basically what coming off of what Marcus said. I mean, the mental health part of it. I know we didn't dive deep into that, but I've dealt with mental health, and like I said, I'm trying to give you guys my story on how I deal with it and how I stay balanced. And it's all about staying balanced. And the first thing is you got to look in the mirror and go, okay, there's something there going on. Let me go try to fix this situation. Let me go sit with someone and talk to them. And a lot of, in our community, in the Black community, they feel like they don't need no therapist. They don't need this. They don't need that. But I'm going to tell you what, man, hey, let the ego go get as much help as you can get, because at the end of the day, man, you can't keep that stuff inside of you. the whole time. And I'm a person just being transparent with you to tell you that, you know, and this is how I've been able to build my empire, is basically because if you go in that dark place, you're not going to be able to build anything. And then that's the thing, is speaking the truth. And that's one thing I wanted to come on here and do, was tell you the truth, be transparent with you. And if there's anyone out there that needs anything, I mean, there's 3 men right here on this screen that you can reach out to, and you know, we'll definitely be there to help you.
Listen, invest in yourself.
Yes.
We'll invest in the outer workings, the sneakers, you know what I'm saying, all the superficial stuff, but your insides is rotten, man. Invest in yourself, baby. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Invest in yourself. Because if you don't care for yourself, nobody else will at all. Like when you make yourself important, other people around you start to treat you like you're important because you make it important for yourself. So invest in you. Listen, every Thursday, 8 p.m., when the lights go out. This was what my brother used to come out to back in the day when he was rocking that old 400 degrees.
That hot
juvie.
boys, man. That hot boys.
Yeah. He used to come out rocking on
Meadowlands, man. I don't know what it's MetLife now, boy. It was Meadowlands when I was playing. Shoot, man. Jimmy Hoffa in the walls, and they said Jimmy Hoffa was buried in the walls.
Now listen, Reg, man, from the bottom of our heart, man, we thank you, we appreciate you, we love you.
Thank you, guys.
If you
man.
need us, listen, if you need us for anything, man, don't hesitate at all, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend every Thursday when the lights go out. Brought to you by Make Results, Not Excuses. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Come check us out, baby. See you next week. Peace.
See you later, man.